Hello, my name is Rashid Darden, and this is National Hazing Prevention Week. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some concerns I've been having that are sort of coming to the surface as I'm observing people and organizations um, commemorate Hazing Prevention Week. And not to use hyperbole, but I'm really concerned for the state of Black Greekdom. I'm concerned that Black Greekdom will not survive COVID 19. And when I say that, I don't mean that I think everybody's going to catch COVID 19 and die. I don't mean that I think organizations are going to lose money because of COVID 19. They might not. What I'm really honing in on is that I've been observing organizations modify their practices, especially in relation to membership intake. And organizations are modifying their practices for the way that they bring in new members. Some organizations because they want to, some organizations because it's a financial consideration, and some organizations don't have much of a choice because the campuses on which they are organized are still holding organizations to a high standard of engagement and membership numbers, and these organizations must do what they can to bring in membership even in a pandemic. At least that's what I'm hearing. So I'm not really worried that organizations, mine included, have had to change things up in order to survive locally and nationally. Things change, the times change. We changed during wars, we changed during social upheaval, and we're going to continue to change. But has our culture changed? And here's what I mean by that. There are people, again, I'm just a regular member, ear to the street sometimes I don't care. But what I've been hearing is that there are members of organizations who have already said they won't acknowledge a Zoom soror or a virtual sister. Already. It's just now fall 2020. And it underscores to me what the issue is and what the issue always has been with the Black Greek Letter organization experience. Hazing is a problem as much as it is in any organization, the military, music organizations, bands, dorms. This has been a problem. This has always been a problem, and it's not exclusive to Black people. Let's be sure of that. But what's unique among Black Greek letter organizations, in my opinion, is that we have had these cycles since the mid 80s to the early 90s where we have reconstituted, changed, renamed, abolished, gotten rid of so many practices that we deemed were harmful at the national level, but did nothing to change the culture. So the culture persists even in the absence of an above ground pledging process, and now in the absence of an in person process. There are brothers and sisters of organizations who have already decided upon the inferiority of people who come in during this global pandemic. And we know what that will lead to. We know that it will lead to underground pledging, underground hazing, all of the things that our organizations nationally have been fighting all along. They persist. So part of my message today is for national leaders. Part of my message is for those pursuing membership. But most of my message is for the 90%. The 90% of people who are inactive members of their organizations. But first, to the national leadership, you must have experts on your teams that will help you to develop cultures of revolutionary love. Strictness and zero tolerance policies and any policy that's devoid of restorative practices will fail you. It absolutely will fail you, just as it has failed for decades. You must develop cultures in which your organization members understand that their sole purpose for being here is love. The love that someone who signed their name on the dotted line in sponsorship, in recommendation, the love of a chapter vote, and the love that our various founders had that was so big that it could not be contained in friendship. This love could only be contained in a fraternal or sorority organization. So to the national leaders, it's not enough to say that you don't haze. You have to work on a culture that believes in love, that believes in revolutionary love, no matter what you look like, no matter your skin complexion, no matter your weight. You must work on that. To those who are pursuing membership, if you feel like the process that you are engaged in, whether virtual or in person, is not from a spirit of love, then leave it. It's not for you. It's not what we're all about. You can't join this organization or these organizations just for a probate show and crossing gifts and a tagline in your Instagram profile. It's not because of the colors. It's because of love. The love that our founders had for humanity. But I can't reach you unless I reach the people that are in the 90%. The people that cross, get their letters, and then leave and only come back for a set, for a basement session, to be mean to people that have come after them, to be nasty, to replicate the same behaviors that they may have experienced and some behaviors that they did not experience. To you, I say, probably too late. The process was not the point. You sought a rite of passage because in our community, we don't have a lot of things that are built in that say, you're a man now, you're a woman now, I acknowledge you as such. We don't have various activities where you are introduced to society. We've got graduation, and then you move out, and then you move on. So I understand why your process was so important to you. It was your ordeal. It was the thing that you experienced in order to prove to your peers that you rightfully belonged, that you belonged in the community, that you belonged to them. But the process wasn't the point. The point was in the oath you took. The point is in the values of the organization. And the point is that your love for humanity is so great, or should be so great, that it can't be contained in mere friendship. Stay away. If you don't return to your organization in a spirit of love, a love that is so revolutionary that the people who knew you before don't even recognize you now, because you are guided by kindness because you're guided by values that you've learned along the way since your process, or that you've taken a second look at your ritual and you understand it even better. That's the kind of person that our organizations need. And if you're not that person, stay away. You have to. Because what you're bringing to the table isn't adding to our longevity. This generation that's coming into our organizations now is a lot different than what it was when I came through, and certainly when you came through. You cannot reach them the way you think you can reach them. And if you can reach them the way that worked for you, I can assure you, those aren't the people that we're looking for. Change your mindset so that we can change the culture. That's all I've got. I think that we will beat COVID. I think that we will beat all the other forces that are conspiring against us as a community, as a nation. But when it comes to our fraternal and sororal experiences, we've got to work on ourselves from within. We can't be distracted by the census and that one of our own is running for vice president. Because I shudder to think about a world in which a member of a Black Greek letter organization is a heartbeat away from the presidency, but your chapter or your pro-fight or your line brother is involved in shenanigans that would put a darkness over this accomplishment that we've all worked toward. Whether you are in the candidate's organization or not, this is it. This is the moment where one of us is almost there. And if you can't see what that means, how big that is for all of us, and how huge that is for the next generation, walk away and stay away. It's National Hazing Prevention Week, and that's all I got.